So now, another lineup of star guests at the invitation of Terry Wogan.
Little do you know what's in store for you. And welcome to another wonderful week of Wogans, or is it a week of wonderful Wogans? I hope so. Well, I promised not to go on about it from here till Christmas, but thank you for all the support and contributions that went to make the Children in Need appeal such a rip-roaring success on Friday night. By the time I'd collapsed into a heap at 1:30 on Saturday morning, you had donated nearly £2.5 million, which was a whole £1 million more than last year. And as I've said, usually with the appeal, by the time all the pledges are collected by the BBC, the banks, the building societies, we double the total donated on the night. So I look forward to a grand total of over £4 million, because the money is still pouring in from all sorts of nooks and crannies. For instance, or grannies, as the case may be. We've had a busload in from St Albans who collected 37 quid in change on the bus. And Stoke Poges Golf Club on Saturday, the high handicappers paused in their destruction of the course to collect £208. Yesterday at lunch, the Oakley Court in Windsor, the staff collected 150 quid, which included the pianist's fee. And on Saturday, on a British Airways flight from Nice to Heathrow, Captain Skidmore collected 420 quid. Obviously panic. When the captain walks down the aisle collecting money, you better contribute. The young men of Free Folk House in Hampshire promised £25 if I'd wish them good night. Well, it's a little early, but good night, lads. Well, all right, you can hang on till the end of the programme, but then it's Betty buys. And somebody in Bristol bid £300 for 2 seats to this show. Must be crazy. Now, here's the bad news. A lot of people have asked to see what was undoubtedly the low point of the show, as far as I'm concerned. Gloria Honeyford and one other, I think I'm going to be ill, pretending to be Sonny and Cher. If you could only see yourself doing these things at the time, you'd never do them. And that'll feed my nightmares for a decade. It really is astounding in these days of tight money and unemployment and so many other desperate calls for charity, the people of Britain can still give so generously. And I can promise you, not a penny will be wasted, not a penny spent on administration. It'll all go to children in need. And if I can go to the well one more time, as I said 1,000 times on Friday night and Saturday morning, here's how to pay. The address is Children in Need, P.O. Box 200, Liverpool, L69 3HW. Now, to tonight. I've got some marvellous people for you to meet. What would you expect me to say? The first, a young lady who rose up in the pop world like a rocketing pheasant after being discovered on Esther Ranson's Big Time in 1980. Hit followed hit, then America and Hollywood beckoned. And we haven't seen an awful lot of the lady for some time, so we warmly welcome back Sheena Easton.
Making myself decent here, my mother's watching.
You can't be too easy making yourself decent in that outfit. Yeah. Where have you been?
Well, I've been trying to, like, make a living, sort of traveling about, I went to the States, as you all know, probably if you've been reading the papers, because after the first few hits here, actually, you couldn't get arrested with one of my records. I mean, it's like, you couldn't give them away, and I tried. Like, I'd be standing in the corner outside BBC going, I'm a one-man woman, and going, right, okay, fine, we'll see you later. But things were doing okay in the States, maybe they're a bit easier to con, I don't know. But, so there was like a demand there for TV and concerts. So I went and I'd go and do the TV there in like 6 months concert tours, and I'd do Japan and stuff, and I'd release another record, and still no one could get arrested with it. And it's like a vicious cycle. I was told, well, you aren't here doing any kind of TV or radio or concerts, so no one knows you. And I'd go, well, just invite me, I'll be here.
Yeah.
So I think you're the first Egypt that's actually done it in a long while.
We obviously speak the same language. So you haven't turned your back on us here, have you?
No, absolutely not. I'd be here as often as I could, just start buying my records and call up Radio 1 and request them, Yeah. I'll be here.
But you've changed. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you've...
Please don't.
When I met you...
You do both hands poised.
When I met you, yes.
Just in case I like it.
Notice how far they are apart. But when you were a sweet girl in a jumpsuit when I saw you last.
Right, I had to change,
Look, you're in your underwear now.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't come up with a decent enough dress. I just put my dressing gown over it. Well,
underwear and a raincoat.
Yeah.
Woo!
No, it's like, I explain it to people like, if you've got a friend who's got a little kid, and the last time you see them, they're like, a little baby and they aren't saying much. And then you go away and you come back and they've grown up and they're talking and walking, you think, my goodness, I've changed overnight. For me, because I haven't been so visible in Britain for a while, people still remember me singing For Your Eyes Only and, Modern Girl and stuff like that. And that was like 3.5, 4 years ago. So over those 4 years, I guess I have changed a bit. My taste in clothes changes. I'm a wee bit more relaxed. I used to be a lot more uptight in those days, more tense and like, I'll show you that I'm confident and strong and nothing will bother me. So now I just like, I've relaxed, and as my mother would say it, I've grown into myself, I've grown into myself more, and I just like, people stare sometimes with my spiky hair, but,
And did they stare? Have you been back to Scotland?
I'm going up this week. Actually, before I go up, I'm seeing my mother. She's met my husband, but he's never actually been here. He flew over to be with the family. So she's flying down from Scotland, special food like square sliced sausage and black pudding. So she's making a fry-up, and this will be his introduction to a black pudding supper.
He'll probably take the next plane back, won't he?
Well, I hope not, but he should enjoy it.
What do you miss about Scotland?
Well, I've got a brother who's there still. Most of all of my family, apart from him, live in England. And my closest friends, apart from Nan, who was like my pal from I was 15, she's moved back up there. So most of the people I'm real close to were in England. I guess your heart really goes to the people you know. But Scotland is a lot of nostalgia for me. I talk about my days in college and stuff. And we're going to go up and I'm going to point to the building, the college, and point to the first flat I had and, take him for a fish supper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll definitely go roaring back to America after that. Is America your home now, to all intents and purposes?
I had to finally make that decision this January. I just sold my apartment in London this January. I got married in January. And, I was...
Don't look so sad.
Oh, well, I was playing hard to get. Up until then, I still used to wave my keys to my London flat and go, you behave yourself, or I'm off. But, my job, I can get on planes and I can travel all over to sing. But his job is, like, based in LA. He's got an office there. So we had to decide that's where we would settle.
Did they have any trouble adjusting to your accent in LA?
They did a little bit. I would use words more than the accent because it's my job to communicate, so I just slow it down for the Americans, But I'd use
The
words.
poor, simple American.
Yeah, you know, and I'd talk louder and wave my hands a bit. No, but I'd use words that would, like, baffle them. You know, idiot is a word
Yeah.
we use a lot in Scotland, and, like, I'd say, they'd say, would you like, you know, a piece of cake? I'd say, just a wee toty bit. And you'd look like you were daft. But I find now that my husband does that. You know, he's got this American accent, and he asks me if I'd like a wee cup of tea in the mornings and things. So I'm educating him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you've come back to see us.
Thank you.
And could we possibly, could you see a way clear
Yes,
to singing a song for us?
I shall do my best. So long as you don't put your finger on it as I'm walking past.
Very well. Go that way around the table and you'll be
Thank you.
absolutely safe. So now, she's sat up and ready to go. So let's hear the latest from Sheena Easton.